All right, welcome everyone to our Resource YYC Lunch and Learn today. Today we have Sarah, one of our Resource YYC partners, presenting. So I hope everyone gets a little inspiration from these do's and don'ts of a great slide deck. All right, over to you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Just to add, if you're not aware, Resource YYC is a co-working space for professionals with office spaces, dedicated desks, and virtual office options. So check us out if you have a chance. Over to you, Sarah. Sorry.
That's amazing. Yes, we're actually we're working out at Resource YYC today. Great spot. We can see the bow from the office window, so it's fantastic. Yeah, so thank you everyone for being here and spending your lunch hour with me. I see a lot of people off their cameras and such, but I will be kind of going to you guys and asking you questions and hoping to help you in that way. So when that happens, I'll let you know, and you can kind of come off of mute, come onto the screen, and we can chat. So first off, I guess, who am I? My name's Sarah Carmichael. I'm the CEO and founder of Bees and Honey Creative. We're a marketing strategy and execution firm. We call ourselves a CEO's best friend. So we work a lot with small and medium-sized businesses, but some of these small and medium-sized businesses actually have become research arms of Fortune 500 companies, and we're so excited to be to work with all the exciting people we get to work with. And I guess over the years, I've become a little bit of an expert in presentations and the do's and don'ts of that. And so how did I become an expert in presentations? And honestly, I've seen a lot of bad decks, just a lot of presentations that, you know, you get to the end, and I've done this myself, where you hunker down and you put all this time and energy into making the best presentation ever, and you put all the information that you can in there, and then you get to the end of it and somebody goes, okay, so like, what do you do? Or what is your product? Or, and somebody asks that question that's just devastating. So what I wanted to talk to you all about is your goals and inspiring action, because I think what's even worse than that question is the nothing that happens after a presentation. So again, you put time and energy into this, you go out there and you try and sell your product or try and sell your company, and you get, oh, that's great, thanks for letting us know, we'll take it away, and nothing happens. So this is going to be a little bit of a deep dive into people that we've helped. We're going to show you 3 different examples of presentations that we've helped transform. And you'll see, you know, it's not all about a pretty deck. It's not all about headings. It's not all about these different things. I think you've all heard that before. Don't put too much text on a slide. What's a good amount? What's not a good amount? All those things. But we're going to go into how to help you and specifically what you are trying to do. So first off, why should you inspire action? And I think that sometimes that gets lost on us. So one of the best examples that I had heard of before was the Ford Explorer example. So I'm not too sure if anybody ever had a Ford Explorer. My colleague Tristan is here with me. I think you had a Ford Explorer, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so Ford had come out with the Explorer, and all of a sudden the tire started splitting. And then also one of the other problems that they were having with it was that there was rollovers. And this was a huge breakdown in communication in the Ford empire of what it is. I don't think any executive would have put these cars into mass production had it been really communicated to them, hey, these cars are going to just roll over all the time. So no matter where you are in your journey, no matter who you are, these presentations have an impact. So whether you're trying to bring your concept or your ideas to market and try and convince people that they should get on board and support you, or if you're, like Ford and have a safety concern, these presentations can really be a difference maker. So I guess this is the first thing that I wanted to do is kind of come off mute, come on video, and just talk to you guys about what type of presentations you are giving and what action you are trying to drive. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment so I can see you guys. Who is going to be brave and come off mute? I see a couple of people here. So Conrad, Shelby, Cy, Pauline, Gary. Okay, we won't come off mute. Oh, Gary, hello. Good morning. Oh, I think you're on mute there.
You want me to mute, buddy?
Oh no, I was just I was asking for input on what type of presentations you guys are doing and what action you're trying to inspire. So what kind of presentations are you doing, Gary? Are you a business? Are you selling a product? Are you looking for investors?
Well, I'm a geologist. I'll say geologist. So I'm not really doing any presentations at the moment.
Okay. Awesome. But if you were, you would probably be, it would be more educational to drive decisions. Do you think that that's fair?
Yeah, probably. Probably. Anyways, I just thought I'd see what your presentation's all about. So,
yeah, sure. Okay. Well,
I'll just meet myself.
Sure. Okay, so we're going to jump right into an example of a deck that we created for what's called Hover. And I'm going to show you this because I think examples are the best way to show you what this is all about. One moment here. Just have to jump into another deck. Here we go. Ooh. Here we go. This is the trickiest thing about Zoom, but yes, so this is Hover. This was a deck that we had created for a company that patented a new way of showing a shelf. So the floating shelves that you have in your homes or your offices, and a lot of us probably, at least I have, the IKEA ones where they've got the two prongs and then the shelf slides over top of that. But ultimately, these are not the best things. These are not the best shelves. They're not the best way of doing shelves. And this company has created a new technology, a new way of doing this. And they've sold a lot. They're going into new markets. They're looking for investment. And this was an investor deck. So we work a lot with investor decks. We work a lot with people who want to show what they're doing and communicate it properly. So first off, we start with say goodbye to floating shelf pain. So people go, oh, okay. Either they know going in that there's the two-prong shelves, and then they start sagging over time, or you can't put a lot of weight on them, or they might be familiar with that. Then we go into the overview. So it's nice to give your it's nice to give people an overview of where you're going. With these guys, we framed it with the opportunity, because we're looking for investors, the execution, company, and financial plan. So one of the biggest things I wanted to talk to you guys about today is who cares. So what are you trying to do with your presentation? What action are you trying to drive? In this example, we're going towards investment. We want money from these people. So we want to, number one, sell them on the product. We want to build credibility. We want to show that they're professional. We want to show that they can do it. And so everything has to support why they should put their money into this company. So who cares? That's something I want you to come back to always with your presentations. Who cares? So one of the things that has recently come up in our presentations and what we go through is what's called the empathy map. So you may have heard empathy is a buzzword these days, but really all it is knowing and understanding who you're presenting to. So so with us, we said, okay, what presentations are you guys doing? What do you want to, what in action are you trying to inspire? That's our efforts of trying to understand our audience and helping you with your presentations. With these guys, they are going to be looking at their investors, and their investors are going to be saying, okay, we understand the pain. We understand that floating shelves are terrible in this market. We understand that there's an opportunity for improvement here, and we want to make a lot of money at it. So they want their money to turn into a great ROI. So we're always looking at that throughout this whole presentation. So we've got opportunity. We're going to explain that. We're going to explain the execution, the company, and then the financial plan. I believe I removed the financial plan for the purposes of this. So part one, opportunity. So these guys, the problem, we go through what is the pain point? Why are the floating shelves so brutal right now? So we talked about that two-prong approach, right? There's a 90% fail rate within 12 months in industry standards. So contractors, these home builders, they're not going to put in these floating shelves because they're a big pain. We go through, here's a problem, here's the problem, here's the problem. We won't go through this presentation in full. Ooh, this is a bad thing on here. This one on my screen, you can't see the bottom points. We put a little bit too much on this page. So that's something to not do. I think it's because we had so many iterations, but if I was doing this again, I would come back and say, okay, we're going to put this onto 2 slides. So the solution, we've got a semi-finished industrial product. They've got a patent. It's stronger, safer to install. It's made of aluminum. It's 13 times the strength of these other guys. And then they go through, like they're managing the objections of the floating shelf, and they're saying, this is better, this is better, this is better. So for all those points that we had on the negatives, we have positives for these guys. Straight out front. So the straight up front, we've got problem solution. Then we've got, you know, this is a floating shelf. This is outrageous. So one of the biggest things and most powerful things you can do is add images, add diagrams, add infographics, anything that's going to communicate how great these are. So these are floating shelves. And you can see this woman sitting on top of this floating shelf. And you can see that she's a regular size woman. There's a guy who's doing a pull up on it. He's got to be, you know, you're going to say, okay, these guys are over 100 pounds. If any of you have had floating shelves in your home, you know that they probably don't support anything more than 20 pounds. So probably over 100, close to 200 pounds is on here. And they're saying here, it can be 300 pounds. Market size. So they've got their numbers. They're showing 4 different markets. They're bold. It's showing exactly what's going on here. On the right-hand side, we're going to walk through it. So the idea with this one is not only that they could have somebody present and be in front of an audience and they could hit those 4 points and they could talk to it, but we're also thinking that somebody's going to be looking at this on their computer. They're going to be reading through and not have the support of a person presenting. And this is something that a lot of our clients want is for somebody to be able to look at it as a PDF, look at it on their screen, or even print it off and just take it and be able to write out notes. A lot of people still do that. Then we go into the competition. You know, what's wrong with it? What's the closest alternative? What's the price comparison? We have a lot going on this slide, but it's all supporting the main objective. Then we've got a comparison. Comparison charts are really effective. So anytime you can take your information and we can go, okay, this is currently what is, and this is where we're going, is a great way to show, to create that action. So again, we're going towards that action. One of the things, so if you're doing an educational, I'm thinking about all of this is targeted towards investors. It's targeted towards convincing people that they should get on board and why it's different. This is very different from an educational presentation. So if you're doing an educational presentation, this might be a little different. Then we're going to spell it out. We're going to have big graphics, something that people can hold on to. We've got big titles. These are the advantages. There's 4 advantages on this slide. We can clearly see them. We can clearly see the title, and then we have a little bit of supporting for each of them. We go into the advantages 5, 6, 7, 8. People can go back to these, and every time that they want a summary of why this is different, why this is better, they can go to these 2 slides. Then we're going to support all of these advantages, all of these things with cold hard facts. We're going to go to execution. This is a big part of companies. How you move them into your investment is not only saying, this is what we're doing here, but also going, this is how we're going to do it. So this is the opportunity. This is where we're going. This is why we're better. But then moving it into, this is actually, we've thought about it. This is our plan going forward. This is what you're investing in. So they've got their marketing plan. They've got their sales model. They've very clearly defined, not a full, you know, not paragraphs on paragraphs, but few points. We've got the steel bracket. We've got the IP down here. These are future products. They've got that laid out. They've got another future product. They've only got a few points here, but it's your 2 main points. 2 main points of this kitchen bracket is enabling smart kitchens and installing cabinets with half the labor and half the time. Half the labor and half the time, that's a huge sell towards people, and people can really attach to that and go, whoa, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. So your big deals are your headings. You can support it with some bullet points. Operation, same thing, but we do pull out, what is the success cycle? What's the numbers, the data that you can support that with? Key metrics, whole slide for this, really attaching to like, what's the net profit? There's 5 times market. There's, you know, total sales are going to be this product versus the other products. And then going into the company, who are you and why can you do this? So we went into mission vision, we went into their team, showing the support. We look at the executive, why are they the people that can make this happen? This one was, you know, they wanted to show how they could enter into different markets. So they had, this would be more supported through a speaking point. And then they go into the financial plan. I'm going to come back out of that. So that's one example of how we told a story. We said, who cares? Why do they care? We looked at who the investors are. We looked at, you know, how are we really going to move these people through the thought process and managing their objections. So one of the things that is an awesome concept for you going forward in your presentations as well is there's 20% of people who will be on board with you. It's called the 20-60-20 metric. So 20% of people will be on board with you. 60% of people are going to be on the fence. We'll call them on the fence. And then there's going to be 20% of people who are not on board. So these are the people that could reject your proposal. They could be, if you're trying to teach them something, they could go, oh, well, I don't believe that. I think that that's not true. So what we want to do in these presentations is really consider each group. The people that are on your side, the people that are going to be there with you, that are going to agree with you, you want to keep them on side. You want to keep giving them the information that they need to hear. The people in the middle can be swayed by either side. So you have to make sure that when you're giving these presentations or when you're creating these presentations, that you're able to speak to that 60% and bring them along to the 20% that's going to be on board with you. The other thing that you can do to make sure that those 60% don't waver over to that 20% that's not with you is managing objections. So this comes back to who cares and why did they care. So for example, with that last presentation that we showed you, we really walked through, this is the current thing, this is why it doesn't work. This is why, this is, you know, this is the IP, this is how it's protected, this is the advantages, this is the comparison, here's the price. And we went through everything that anybody could object to in this investment process, and we name it and we say it, versus just shadowing over it and going, okay, well, this is why it's the best, the best, the best, the best, the best. We go, even if there's stuff that isn't the best, we're going to list it and we're going to highlight it and we're going to say, this is going to come here to here. So for example, they don't have an international sales strategy. They've been selling in this market. So then we say, we've been selling in this market. This is our success rate in this market. This is where we could go, but this is how we need to get there. And these are the differences that we need to make to get there. So that manages the objections of the people, the 20% that might be like, oh, that's cool in North America, but you're not going to be able to do it in Europe. We've thought about it. We're going to get there. So that's one example there. And always coming back to that main message. The next presentation that I'll show you is just we'll quickly go through it. It was a presentation that we did for a mining company. So this is a public presentation. They've actually since changed their name. I'm not showing the most updated presentation, but this will show you what we did. And it's pretty fun because we started out when they gave us their presentation, it was white slides, maybe with their name on it, maybe not. And it was just paragraphs on paragraphs on paragraphs of just, it was kind of like a Word document. And they're like, this is our presentation. and that was good because they were like, we need you. We clearly need you. And so we talked to them and said, okay, how do you want this information to be presented differently? Somebody could read through, but how are you going to transition their thought process? What do you really want to communicate here? And what they wanted to communicate was, they wanted to go away, their mining company, they wanted to go away from the big bad mining company vibe, and they wanted to transition to be have more of a green energy feel, and they wanted to be on the wave of electrification. Anyways, they wanted to go into clean energy. So they wanted to be seen as they are moving away from, these resources that would be, this kind of destroying the land and just raking in all the, gold and these different things from African regions. And they wanted to transition that to, we're looking at cobalt, which is going to be a cleaner energy source. We're going to be looking at copper. We're going to be looking at all these, we'll call them greener metals. So we took their black on white presentation that was paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, and this is what we did with it. I'll show you in un momento, por favor. this. All right. So what we did is we took it from the big bad mining company look and we changed it and transitioned it to be more green. So showing the landscapes of the places that they work in, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And we really wanted to show that they were more socially responsible. So socially responsible mining in the DRC was straight up very first thing that we did. We also started adding imagery and the color scheme. We changed their logo. We did, you know, the blues and the greens and made it just look more accessible. Again, this is something that would live online. So people, investors would be able to click on the link, see a PDF of this presentation, and we want them to be able to go through and read through or skim through and get the point. So first thing we see, you know, Democratic Republic of the Congo, we see the different types of minerals that are there, and then we go into the untapped resources of the DRC. So we, without even reading anything, that headline and what you see, you understand where it is, what they're working on. We go straight into their competitive advantage. So this is a big thing. I think one of the biggest things that I could tell you to do is just say exactly what you want to say first thing, and then prove it. So this is the competitive advantage. We've got 4 competitive advantages. They're clear, they're right in your face, right as you get in here. And then we're going to move forward. And then why invest? So if we're looking at investors, we're saying, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a lot of text. Again, a lot of text on one page. But this was based on the assumption that they were going to put it on their website and people are going to be reading it off of there, and it's not going to be supported by a speaker. So we, again, can see everything. It's right there. Somebody could print off this page, or they could screenshot this page, and they could take that forward, and that's all they would need to remember coming out of this presentation. Then we allowed them to write out a lot of text on these pages, but they wanted to talk a lot about what they were doing, and their investors, based on who they have as investors, would want to be able to understand a project on one page. Now, when you look at this page, this probably started out as like 5 slides of tons of content, and we got it down to 1, so we're happy with it. Then they go to their different projects. So you can see the different owned concessions that they have. We talk about it being 100% owned. We talk about then they really want to show that carbon credit in their ESG strategy. So they had a group that worked on this ESG strategy with them, and that's really important to their investors. What are they looking at? What's their long-term goals? I'll just quickly flip through here. We've got the team. We can see very clearly in just very little snippets who the team is and why they're going to add value to this project. And then their capital structure. So short presentation, it gives all the information, it highlights what it needs to highlight, and very, very, very different from black on white, paragraphs on paragraphs. So that was one. And then we had one more presentation that we wanted to show you. This one, you'll see it's very much less designed. So this one is a technical presentation. Again, we're thinking about empathizing with the person that they're going to be giving it to. So this is a company that we work with, TDK, Trusted Positioning. They're a tech group out of Calgary who was acquired by a Silicon Valley company in 2014, and then now they're a research and development arm under TDK. And TDK has very strict, what would you call it? Brand and presentation guidelines. So they want the black on white look, and they want it to be consistent, and they want all the data to be presented very much the same. So we didn't really go into these big graphic presentations. But the audience for these ones is different. We're looking at talking to engineers versus talking to investors. Investors want you to have this professional look. They want you to, you know, they want to see their money going into a company that they believe is professional and credible and they can trust, versus something like this where it's a data oriented presentation. The engineers say, okay, what's your product? And then prove it to me that it works, prove it to me that you have the data to support your claims. So this one, you can see, again, we try and bring up, you know, very clearly what we're trying to do here. You can see on one side, we're going, okay, we're looking at safety, we're looking at efficiency. These are the two blocks of information we want people to take away, is interpositioning allows you to improve two things. And then we go into the different, this would be, so this is the master presentation, but if we were looking at, for example, if these guys did a COVID-19 tracing for office buildings. So if we were looking at selling it to somebody in Japan that had a massive office building and they wanted to trace all the possible contacts between their employees during COVID-19, we would show them this slide. We would say, okay, COVID-19 spreads more aggressively indoors. This is why it's valuable. Improves safety, improves efficiency. We're always coming back to that. Safety, efficiency, main message, who cares? But if we're marketing it to somebody like that, we're not going to show them the construction site slide. So we've got one presentation, we've got multiple uses, and we have all these different people. So we've got factories and warehouses, we've got hospitals, so many different things. Then we've got what exactly they do and who they address here. I wanted to show you a couple different things. So the infographic that we have here gives a better explanation of anytime you can add graphics or icons, it helps people understand where you're going a little bit better. Same with this. So we can see from here, it goes, okay, here's the dashboard, here's the mobile app, here's the analytics in the back end. If you're a technology company, we work with a lot of technology companies. One of the biggest errors that we see on these decks is not showing a dashboard, not showing what your software looks like and does in the back end for your customers, because they want to be able to visually see it. They want to be walked through it. One of the things I think about is like Dropbox. You could say, when somebody could describe to you and sell you on Dropbox, oh, it's where you put all your files. It's going to be organized. It's going to be on the cloud when Dropbox first came out. But unless you show people, here is what a Dropbox looks like. Look how you can drag your file in here and it lives here. Go to your phone, go to your computer, go to anywhere else, and you can look at that file. If you can't show the continuity of or the value of your product, then they're not going to buy it. So showing dashboards, very, very important. Also on this presentation, we have an embedded video. So anytime you can add videos to support, to actually, again, show your product in motion, show your software in motion, it's incredibly valuable. So I think, honestly, this little video that we've got on here has probably sold so much of their software. Yeah, you can see it on here that it's just tracing this girl through their offices. Yeah, anyways, we'll skip through that. They also have that for other things that they're doing. They show where the car is going. It shows the value add. If there's an engineer looking at this, this proves to them, this is what it does. This is how it works. I get it. I think that's kind of what I want to show here. But this one, again, very technical. There is a lot of information on these slides, but then again, we're supporting all the claims with everything that you say, back it up. All right, we're going to come out of here.
I'm not sure I understand.
It's okay, Siri. So that was the bulk of what I wanted to show you today. And the tips and tricks that I wanted to impart on you.
I think the last presentation you were trying to show, all I was seeing was the end of the Africa one. So I'm not sure.
Oh no. Okay, I'll show you. There we go. Dang. That's too bad. I'll show you. That's embarrassing. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, so here's the last one. So this one is again, it's not designed the same, but as I was saying, so here's our overview. Here's our two things, safety, efficiency that we were talking about. Here's when we were talking about the smart offices, we have a slide for that versus we wouldn't show this construction site. We wouldn't show factories and warehouses. Depending on who you're talking to, you show whatever slide you want to show to them. What I was trying to show here, okay, let's go back. So these are the infographics. So this is showing you the dashboards, moving through the mobile app. And then this is where I'm showing this is the proof. This is the proof in the pudding that this is the real-time positioning. This is exactly what's going on. This is what you can see. It works. Same with here. If an engineer sees this, they understand what's going on. They understand that this works. And again, we have another video here where if somebody's going through the videos, they're able to see exactly how something works in real time. Sorry, team. So don't, in a presentation, make sure that you're sharing your screen properly. Awesome. Okay, so that being said, are there any questions? Are there anything that you feel like you can take away from today? What can I help you with?
Feel free to comment in the chat. We'll read those out as well.
Yeah. Well, if there's no questions, I'll share my screen here and show you who are again. Here's my contact information. Sarah at beesandhoneycreative.com is my email. This is my phone number as well. So if you have any thoughts, anything that you want to go over with me for your presentations, if this is something that you think you would benefit from, or if you wanted me to take a look at your presentation and give you a few thoughts, maybe give you a few comments, I would be more than happy to do that. It's something that we do all day long. So feel free to email me and connect with me there or on LinkedIn, whichever. And
we'll have Sarah's LinkedIn in the description of the video when we post the video as well.
Yeah, yeah. And any feedback from today's presentation is also welcome. So good. Rosemary, did you learn a lot today?
Yeah, so I feel like it's always good because it's a bit of a reiteration, but it's also, we were looking at presentations and things that are different from what I've done before. So especially that last one with all the little videos and things were really cool.
Yeah, it's I think it's always nice to see what other people have done. That's why I wanted to show what we've done rather than just speak to what we've done. So because they're also so different, you know, like
Mhm.
trying to get investors versus, you know, a public company that's just wanting to have a little bit of information or rebranding on their site, versus a company that's, you know, not looking for investors at all, but trying to promote their products, but promoting it to an audience that really doesn't want to see the flashiness. They want the hard nosed facts of like, what is the data and what are you going to give me? And, you know, and does it work in managing those objections? So
Mhm.
very different viewpoints.
Yeah, definitely different viewpoints, but it's good to have that comparison of all of those, as well as like how you showed the comparisons even just in the slide decks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Powerful tool. Yeah. Good. Well, if there's no additional questions, thank you very, very much for coming today. So happy to connect with everybody here. Hope it added value to everybody, and yes, feel free to reach out at any time. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Rosemary, for having us.
And thank you very much for presenting. I also hope everyone got some great information from this, and even if it's not something new, it's a good reminder.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Great.
Especially the don't put too many words on the slide.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. I have to go fix that.
Well, sometimes seeing is the way that you learn, right? It's,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that doesn't look great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye now.